In this short YouTube tutorial, I will guide you through all the different options in Civilization 7. So right here, click on options, and then the first one is accessibility. Right here, you can configure your controller. The second one is your keyboard and mouse. So I'm using the keyboard and mouse. Click on configure, and right here you can change key bindings. Then down here, the color blind accessibility is on standard colors right now for me. Then font scale, I've turned this one to medium. Viewing experience is on desktop or laptop computer. So if you're playing on the PS5, on the Xbox, on any other console, you want to enable television probably. If you are playing on the Switch, click on handheld. Otherwise, if you're on the computer, just select desktop or laptop computer. Then down here, enable high resolution UI scaling. So if you have a decent computer, you can turn all these options to high or medium, because the game is so far pretty good optimized in my opinion. Then narrate on hover is turned off, narrate chat is turned off as well, and down here I've turned the subtitles on for cinematic sequences. Then on audio, we changed this one to 25, the master volume to 25. The music volume is right now on 0. Normally when I'm playing, I've turned this one to 5%, but for the YouTube video, I've turned this one off completely. And down here, we have selected the default to 80. Then down here, dynamic range is on right, mute on focus loss is turned on. So if you go to the second monitor with your mouse cursor, this game is muted for the second. If you tap in, this one is playing music or any sound effects again. So let's change for a second, go back in, and then we want to go to game. Right here, I've turned this one off, auto end turn. Those two options are turned on for me. So if you're not that experienced in the late game, it's way easier to have an overview about all the units on the field. Then tutorial level, only warnings. If you are new to the game, click on tutorials. Then autosaves amount, I've lowered this one to 7. On default, it's on 10. Then turns between autosaves is on 3. So otherwise, it will save every round. If you are in the late game, it may take a little bit for the saves. So I want these saves to be done every 3 rounds. Then right here, you can enable or disable crossplay. I prefer to play with every player, with PS5 players, Xbox, and so on. So I've turned this one on. I think on default it's also turned on. Then down here, if you have the deluxe edition, you can enable or disable the scout skin. Let's go over to graphics. Right here, we want to stay in full screen. Game resolution is on default 1920 by 1080. If you have a 4K monitor and a computer that fits to 4K, you can turn this one to 4K as well. Make sure that VSync is turned off and upscale anti-aliasing is turned. Whatever works best for your graphics card, your setup. Maybe try to test things out and see if your FPS higher, lower, or if the game is impacted by this setting. So graphics profile is on high, AMD quality level is on quality, AMD FX ambient occlusion is on high as well. Then down here we want to enable these options. So I have around 240 FPS right now. If I turn these options on, so bloom, I want to turn this one off. Down here, asset quality is on low right now. Let's confirm for a second, and then we can change this one if we are out of game. So right now we cannot. If you have a good setup, just hire this one as well. Texture detail is on medium, particle quality high, shadow quality medium. Water quality is for me not that important, so I've turned this one to low. Image sharpness is on medium right here. So I will turn this one to very high. Let's test out if it's impacting the FPS. So I think 180 is still good enough. So let's turn back in the options, and the last one is system. Right here you can change your language. So on default it's probably on your country language. If you want to change to English, you can select English right here and then accept. So right here you have the option to change the display language and the spoken language separately. So just switch, click accept, and then you have to restart the game. Right here, show intro video is on default turned on. So after 5 times you are annoyed of the intro, so turn this one off. Tooltip delay, I've turned this one to 0.1 seconds. I don't want to have any delay. Always show a ribbon yields. So right here you have this option. I used to have this option on. So if you click on confirm changes, click on resume, you want to make sure to click once on your character, on your leader, then go back out. And as you can see, we have now these resources, the yields displayed for the whole game on the top right corner. Then let's dive into the last few options. Then camera pan speed is how fast you can move the camera. I've turned this, I didn't touch this one, so these two are on default. Last one is to change all the settings, restart the game, and then you have all these settings applied.